Hey there, vinyl community. My name's Tom. You're watching Rant District. The question is it possible to hate a record that you ordered before it even arrives? The answer is yes. And I'm going to talk about the great, what I would call like the great analog productions slash acoustic sounds scam. All right, so here's the deal. Uh, a little bit of background for anybody who doesn't know. Acoustic Sounds is a real retailer in Salinas, Kansas, that owns a record label, or maybe Chad Kassem, the president and owner of both. He owns both. Anyway, Analogue Productions is a record label owned by Chad Kassem, who distributes them through Acoustic Sounds, which is a online music retailer. Uh, Analogue Productions typically does high end recordings of things, and they do it on. They'll do vinyl. They'll do digital. They'll do CD. So anyway, they're a couple of Christmases ago, they came out with. They started advertising for sale a reissue of the Jimi Hendrix Experiences, Axis Bold as Love. Two versions. One version is a stereo version, and they're gonna make like 5,000 of those or so. And the other one is the mono version, which is gonna have 1,500 copies. This is supposed to be the best sounding version of the record, and I don't have an original copy of the record. I mean, for anybody that watches me, reissues are really not my thing. Typically, I go for an original of something if it's on vinyl, and if I can't get an original, generally I go with if it's got to be a reissue of some sort, I'll get it on CD. I'm not anti CD. I prefer vinyl, but I listen to CDs and enjoy them as well. However, this was going to be the best sounding version of Jimi Hendrix Experiences, Axis Bold as Love. It's supposed to be on Clarity vinyl, which is, maybe it doesn't have the black dye in it, which is a sound inhibitor or something. I don't know. It's like so it's not black. It's like a semen colored, happy ending looking, milky white kind of thing, and it's supposed to be perfectly flat. Supposed to be amazing sound. It's called the UHQR version. UHQR, ultra high quality record, is a term that's been around in the past. Chad Kasem bought that trademark, I guess, and is doing it now. So anyway, it was I ordered a copy of the mono version on December 5th of 2017. That's 2 Christmases ago. I was doing it as a Christmas gift to myself, and although I ordered it on December 5th, 2017, at the time it was being advertised as it's pre-order. It's not going to be out till summer of 2018. I'm like, all right, in this rare instance, I'm going to go treat myself, and that was a serious treat. It's a $100 record plus shipping. There's no free shipping on it, so it's like $116 record. And so as the summer rolls around and no record shows up, you contact Acoustic Sounds and they're like, oh yeah, it's been blah 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 delayed, and now it's going to be in I think they said like November, and then that changed to winter of 2018/2019, and then when that passed, they said we're looking at shipping during March of 2018. And then back in March, Michael Fremer came out with a video from Analog Planet, his website, Analog Planet. He did a video doing a review of a preview copy he got of the stereo version, and or an unboxing, I should say. He didn't do a preview because apparently Acoustic Sounds, Analog Productions, Chad Kasem didn't want any reviews of the record to be out before the record was actually out into the public. So anyway, in that March video where Michael Fremer did the unboxing, he said he gave an update saying, well, look, all the mono copies, the 1,500 mono copies are done. They're boxed up, but they're just not going to ship them until the stereo version's done. And so after the end of March passed, it's April, and they started saying, then Acoustic Sounds, Analogue Productions said, oh, we're going to ship, in mid-April. And then it became late April. Today's May 10th. I don't have the thing. And stuff happens. This is a major first world problem. But there's just been such a long of a delay and some squirrely stuff that if the thing ever arrives, my plan right now is to just keep it in a box and stick it in a closet. And at some point, apologize for the dogs barking. There's probably a terrorist outside. Turned out it was a terrorist. The dogs refer to it as a terrorist. I call it the mailman. So anyway, where was I? They were saying mid-April delivery, then late April delivery. Here it is, May 10th. Still haven't gotten a thing. So if it does show up, I'm just going to stick it in a closet. I mean, I think it's been enough of an irritation to me for a couple other reasons that I'll get into, where I don't see myself getting $100 worth of enjoyment out of it. Neither, I'm going to stick it in a closet, keep it boxed up, unopened, and down the road, in a couple years' time, if I mellow out on this, then maybe I play it, or if I update my system, if I go with a more expensive rig that would really take advantage of that kind of sound, maybe I do it. Or maybe, if somebody's willing to pay out the ass for it, and it's not going to be anybody through the vinyl community or anything like that, I'd be looking to go prison style on somebody. I'm talking expensive. Three or so, I think 3 of these already have sold on eBay, the mono version, for $700 so far. There's a couple people advertising for $1,000. One person has it up for $2,000. So we'll see. It's fetching a lot in the secondary market, and if I could turn my $100 into $700, if I could turn my $100 into $1,000, I'd probably do it. But don't ask. I'm not selling it or doing anything with it through the VC. So anyway, the other contributing factors were, they had the monos done in March and boxed up, ready to ship, and they decided not to ship them. And then a couple weeks ago at the big high-end audio show called Axpona, AXPONA, it's held in Chicago, I think. Even though Acoustic Sounds hadn't shipped a single one out to any regular customer, they apparently had 100 copies of the Axis Bold as Love stereo version for sale to the general public at that show. So for $100 plus no shipping, people who didn't order it a year and a half ago were walking out of Axpona with it in their hands. And there's also a rumor there was about a couple dozen mono versions at Axpona that just got sold before the doors opened, within dealers. Dealers, people who were showing at Axpona. So definitely, there's people getting the stereo version before a single one was shipped out, and people order them as late as I think late November of 2017, hadn't gotten it yet. The monos were done in March, and apparently a couple of them were sold at Axpona for the monos. And you can't get any information out of Acoustic Sounds. I've called them. I'm like, and the guy I talked to in shipping I said, look, you can't tell me anything. Give me a manager, give me a supervisor, give me somebody who can tell me why these things are boxed up, but you won't ship it to me. And he said something along the lines of, and this happened twice. The person I spoke to said something along the lines of, "There's nobody here that will tell you anything." So something's up. What they're not saying, and it's within their rights, but it's also within my rights to just you know, not buy that stuff in the future, or if I buy it, just buy it to flip it. The stereo version is readily available. I think it's still for sale. It's not sold out. But in cases like the mono version, only 1,500 available. At least 3 sales through eBay at $700 a piece. It's a very flippable thing, and if I decide I want to get money back on it, big money, I'm pretty confident I can do it. But I'm just irritated at the whole thing. I just wanted a really good sounding copy of Axis Bold as Love in mono. I do have a mono cartridge for my turntable. I'll put it on if I'm in a mono kind of mood. Now, that's the first time I've ever pre-ordered anything from Acoustic Sounds, Analogue Productions label. If anybody can tell me, like, if this is kind of normal, if this behavior is a norm for them, or is this something that's just like way out of their character? I don't get it. I don't get the lack of being upfront with people. That's the really thing that really bothers me. And as much as I want to have like a really good clean copy of this record, it's just a thing. And if I can profit greatly from it, that would probably be the way I'm going to go. But again, I ordered this early December of 2017. It's May of 2019. I still don't have it. Although it is being shipped, it's just not apparently being shipped to me. And even like I started getting angrier about this when Richard Riley did a recent VC video doing a Vinyl Me Please commercial, and I could see a box sitting on the floor behind him of the Axis Bold and Love Analogue Productions UHQR version, and he said, yeah, he had both. He already had both the stereo and the mono. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Anyway, if anybody else has ever like pre-ordered stuff from Analogue Productions that's on the higher end like this, and is this normal? Is this not? I mean, I always like, from what I see on video anywhere, Chad Kasem, whatever his name is, I kind of like the guy, but now I'm like, my opinion's changed. I really wish they'd be more forthcoming about what's going on. So anyway, like, if you know how like memories get attached to records, and and those things, there'll be a story about like how you acquired a record, or you listen to a record remind you of a period of your life or something. And right now, if I were to play this record, it just remind me of the pain in the ass ordering process I had, and the lies that I got from Acoustic Sounds and Analogue Productions, and those are not good memories. So holler at me if you have any input on this. I hope it shows up one day. If it does, I'll just make sure it's not banged up. The box isn't banged up, but I'm going to leave it sealed and toss it in a closet and revisit it in a couple of years or something. Anyway, thanks for watching. Rant over.